Hey guys, it's Paul. I want to give you, as fast as I can, a how to create a bar chart race, a bar graph race. You've probably seen them all over. You see them popping up all the time. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really easy, and how to do it for free. These bar charts where you see a progression of data and people overtaking other people, or whatever the data is, whatever it might be. If you want to do it for your sales, if you want to do it for your salesman, or whatever it might be, I'm going to show you how to create a bar chart just like this one, and we'll do it right now. So I use a lot of these because they're really good for storytelling and visualizing for people to see stuff. I use the app or the website that is called Flourish Studio. Beautiful and easy digital data visualization and storytelling. Completely free to use. I haven't been asked to pay anything. I haven't been bombarded with emails or any sort of marketing information. It is 100% free from what I've used. If you want to start saving and exporting stuff and keeping it private, then it does start to cost $69 a month, $5,000 a year. But if you're happy for your data to be public, it's completely free. Right, we'll talk about that later. And it's only if you're going to publish it anyway, right? So I'm going to sign in. I'm already logged in, and I've got all these graphs that I've done, all these different ones. But we're talking about the bar chart race, right? So first thing you will do, you will probably get a pop-up saying, what do you want to start with? I'm going to go here to a new visualization. There's hundreds and hundreds of different ones. Once you start doing them, you'll just get obsessed with doing different types of charts. But if you scroll down to the bar chart race here, right? The first one is just a regular bar chart. That's what I'm going to use. The second one is a column race, which is going upwards, obviously. And the third one is one-word captions. So when things happen, you can pop up a caption. But let's stay with the basic and open up this bar chart, right? So it'll give you, what is the sample population, I think. It gives you this data set to work with, and you can play around with it. And you can see it's already set up, right? So if we look at the data, what we see is, if I, let me open that in this so I can show you the data as it works, right? So the first column is the label of each row, right? So obviously in this case, we have got the country. So this is the country, the label down the side. Then we have the region. So if you want to set things into categories, what will happen is each category can then be assigned a different colour. So that you can see they've done it in continents. So Europe, I'm guessing, is this, I don't know what colour is that. Orange, like a beige orange. God, I don't know colours, do I? The next one is your image. So you need to post a link for the image, right? Which brings up this icon, right? It's easy to do. You can just grab it off Twitter or YouTube or whatever you're doing, whatever the data is, right? And then we have the data set. So obviously 1960, and then you have to go through and put all the populations in and all of, and then every year going forward. And this is probably a accumulation stat. So you will add up, if you're doing how many sales in a year, you might put here 10, and then they got 10. Sorry, say this is like May. You do 10 sales, then you do June. They did another 10 sales, so this would be 20. July. If they did another 15 in July, then the sale would be 35, and you would build up your sales stuff like that. So it's an accumulation stat if you want the grid to go up. Obviously, if it's some sort of stat that's dependent on whatever it is on that day, then just put in that stat and the grid might bounce down and up. But we're looking for a race, so we're looking for who's the highest total, right? So what you can do is simply, oh no, swap that, I'll swap it around if you want to do it the other way. Don't do that. you can clear this data. I'm not sure if there's an easier way of doing it. Upload, other than just going comp and then delete. Right, backspace, clear all the data. We're not worried about the data. So what we're gonna get is we're gonna set it out from the start. Let me open my other data up because I'll just grab the data off that other chart so we can see it. Right. So here's the data. So this is the data on that chart. Right. So A is going to be the title, the whatever the names of the rows are that you're calling it, whether it's salespeople, it's sales, monthly sales, or whatever it might be. In this case, YouTube channel. See, I've spelt it wrong, look. YouTube channel, YouTube golf channels. So I'm going to put in here, the title is YouTube golf channels. And then I need to go through and I would have to type in all of them, you know, Rick Shields, Golf Mates. And I would type them all in. But obviously, if you've got this data already, you don't need to do it. So I'm going to grab, so if you've got a spreadsheet, I'm going to grab all these people, all these, the top 30 golf channels in the world. And I'm going to populate it, not like that, like that. Yeah. I think I double clicked on it then. So I'm just going to paste in that data. So then the next row is the categories. So I've broken these up into countries. So again, I can just grab the spreadsheet data, type in. So this is going to be country. So that's the category. You don't have to have categories, but it can set up your colours depending on if you've got bunching things together. And I can just paste in the categories. Oh, did I do it twice? I don't know why Mac. Did I not grab all of these? Maybe I didn't grab all of these. Yeah, sometimes Mac double things. No, I didn't do enough to start with. Why is there 100 and something there? Right, let's start again. And do it. There's only 32. Hopefully your copy from your spreadsheet's a little bit easier. So I'm going to paste that in. There we go, there's 32. Obviously what I would do is just copy the whole thing. But I want to just go through each individual. Yeah, I think what happened is that if I completed the whole row, it's trying to fill out the whole thing, right? Let me delete these. So you can delete it. See, there's a little bit of playing around, but you won't have as much problem as this. Remove rows. So we got our 32, right? Now, on my data here, I've got links to other stuff. So you can have, you know, with this, I might insert a column to the left. You see how it's light grey? It's not going to be part of the slideshow, right? And this might be YouTube link. So if I'm doing a YouTube channels or I'm doing whatever, and it's just some data you want to share, it might be website. If it's a business information something, it might be website. You know, pnuk.com's my website. All right, forum. So you can put in this one. You don't need. It won't show up. Anything in grey won't show up. But I can put information. If I'm going to update this month on month, if this is going to get me to that person's information quicker, I can put it in, copy and paste, and it takes me to that website, right? So that's what I use it for, to get me to the data information. The next column is the image, right? And this is where it's easy to do, right? What you can do, if say it's your YouTube channel, so let's just say who's this? Sean Clement Golf, right? If all I've got to do is a YouTube channel, right? So I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to grab Sean, and then I just right click, copy image address. And here we go, image. Address. You just put image, because it doesn't show up, it just shows the image, right? So the image. So it's a little Giphy, and the same if it was Twitter. I don't know if Sean Clement does Twitter. Sean Clement. say it's this one, it doesn't matter. You can just go to the image and copy image address and share that image, right? And then it would show up on this graph. Let us just grab Sean Clements data and oh, it wasn't the smartest thing to do. There we see now when we preview it that the logo, obviously if it's only one, you might want a better version of the image, but when it's going to be smaller in a bit, it won't be a big deal, right? So we've got the images, and I'm just going to drop them all in. So I'm going to grab these again, and I'm going to clear this and drop it in, right? So over here, A, label is A. So you can set this, if you want the label to be B, set it to B. But then that'll mess your categories up. But you can change it. If you want column Z to be the labels, you can do it. But we're going to make it A. So we're going to leave the labels as A. We're going to make the image, which is this one here. This is the image, so we make that D. Again, if it's a different column, or you don't want this website link, you can remove it. I'm going to leave it in, just because I'm going to copy the whole thing across in a second, right? And then we come to the data set. So for my stuff, it was Golf's YouTube channels, data from December 2017. So I type in December 2017, add a column, Jan 2018, Feb 20. So these are your separate data months, whatever the altering data is. I'm not sure what it's not the category, but it's the steps. Each step as you go forward. I really should know better data. Can you tell that I trained myself in data analysis? So whatever this step is at the bottom is what's going to be on this list at the top, right? So in this case, it is the months all the way through to January 2021, right? And then in each box, we're going to put the accumulative figure. So we're going to say you got 1,000 subscribers in December, you got another 1,000 in January, another 1,000 in February, in March, you had a good year, you got 10,000 subscribers, right? So we're going to put 13,000. So it's a accumulation of the month before on the race, or it's whatever stat you're sharing, right? So when you preview it back from December, you can see the numbers at the top, 1,000, 2,000, and then it goes through, right? So what I'm going to do is copy all this data across. Stuff on the end, because what happens is when I'm uploading when I do a new, oh, this isn't actually the up-to-date one, but it's all right. I'm going to copy all my spreadsheet across, right? So this is what you could have done to start with. I just wanted to show you each column. I'm going to highlight everything, backspace, delete, and copy my whole data set across. So now I've got all my data. I've got my country, my channel, my country, my categories, information for me, all the information in on the images per row, and I've posted the data. What I was talking about then was, it's doubled it up again, hasn't it? Yeah, there's probably more. There was more information on the new sheet than the old, so it just, for some reason, it doubles it up. But if you highlight stuff you don't need and delete it, then it will get rid. So just highlight this to the top, highlight this, and then remove columns. So I've got my information, and the last thing I need to do on the new sheet is tell it where the data is. So the data begins at E and it ends at AQ, right? So the data set starts at E. So we're going to start at E and then put a dash, minus sign, whatever you want to call it. Ends at AQ. So wherever you end, do that. And then you'll see by the colours. You can see the colours where everything is sort of hosted. And then what I do is, because there's probably a way of freezing the first column, what I do is I put on the end, because I update this every month, I put the information at the end. So in theory, I could delete this column, delete A, remove column. Are you sure? Oh, it's probably not letting me because it's titled in it. If I make this C and remove this column, because what happens is, when you're updating it month on month, you can't get the first column to show. So I use it here, right? Oh, and you've got to be careful you don't change the settings, right? Oh, man. I'm confusing you now, but I didn't need to. What I'm saying is, I make the last column the title, AQ here, because when I come to add a column the next month, I go here, right, and then I've got the titles next to me on the right, and then I add the next month's information. So whenever you add, if I do February here, Feb 2021, I obviously then go through and add the numbers, but then I want to just make the values the next one across. So you get that purple across. AQ, right? Remove the column. So pretty much you're all set within your data. You've got your data in, you've got your image links, and now you're going to go and preview the data. So here it is, and all the settings for the graph are now on this side. So with this graph, there's about 30 different channels. So I want to show 30 bars. So I can type it in, or I can just add it upwards to show me all 30. Obviously, if there's none in, it won't show. Any spacing, if you don't like the gaps in the spacing, you can make them bigger. You can make them smaller. Let's go back to 10. You can do vertical. So if you want to change it to a column race upwards, you can switch it over. If you want to specify how high everything is on the bars, you can make them bigger, or you can just make it fit whatever space you've got. Leave spaces if there's fewer bars than specified, so it'll just leave a gap. Sorting, depends what data you want, but you can sort it. You can turn sorting off, and that will just show you how it is in your graph, in your data. So obviously Sean Clement at the top, rather than the highest at the top. So you can see as you've entered it, you don't have to have a race where everybody bumps. You can actually see people growing in the same place as they were. Obviously, as soon as a few people turn up. If you want the highest at the bottom, you can flip it, make the bottom. Hide bars below a value. So if you don't want to show these guys under 20,000 subscribers, you can cut them off. And it takes 20,000 to get on this. We can get rid of it. The bar colours is interesting. So we can do it by categories, and then you can assign a category. If you want to change the colour set, more pastel-y, pale, you can change it. But what you can do is assign a category a colour. So let's go rainbow. No, I quite like that pale one. No, that's a bit. Let's just go back with a flourish, right? So if I wanted, for instance, UK, you do UK column blue, and that will change UK to blue. You can do USA. Let me just remember how to do this. Yeah, you do it like that. UK red. USA red. So we're going to watch the USA's go red. Oh. Let me just have a look on this one without colours, because I basically just copied what I did. USA, UK. Oh, maybe I didn't do it in. Yeah, it's you. Do you have to be absolutely bang on with the? Oh, it's gone red now anyway, hasn't it? So I had it. Maybe you just have to click off it to take. Let's do TH as purple or green. TH is green. No, let's go purple. Yep, so that took. What I've done is UK blue. It hasn't taken that, has it? UK blue. There you go. I didn't actually change anything, but it took it, didn't it? So play around with it, but that's how you change each category. Give it all its own colour. Data labels, obviously max font size if you want to change things. If you want to move the labels around, if you want to put the labels inside the bars and put the icons at the side, you can. You can change the colour, I guess, if I wanted to make it white. Did that change? Yeah, there you go. That made it white. So you have to click off it to make it change. You can make the font size bigger, smaller. But let's go back. Change the label to axis over that. Let's change the text back. So you can tinker with it. You're not going to break it totally. You can turn the values off if you don't want the values to show. You can make the images bigger, smaller, make them fit. You can stretch them. Looks a bit daft. You can fill it or fit it. I quite like the fit, don't it? Because that's the actual image then. The shape, a circle or a rectangle if you want to make them squares. Show current time, so you can turn off the actual data at the bottom. Show it. Make it bigger if you've got space. Should we go back and make that the highest at the top? There we go. Because this is the general one you'll see. Change the colour again. You want to go black. Oh, that's the data at the bottom. This is the colour for the title. So this is the total. This is all of them added together. You may not need that if it's an individual race. If it's your business and you want to see a collective sum, you might leave that in. Captions. I haven't got captions on this, but if you wanted to create captions, if a certain thing comes up, you can create a bubble and it'll jump out. Controls. Do you want to show the controls at the top here, where you can change it? People can change it if you're going to share it. Text size of controls and all that. The legend. Enable it or disable it. That's this thing up the top here. Turn it off. Turn it on. Make it bold. Make it bigger. Make it bigger. Up to you. All sorts of fun stuff to play with. The axis, you can change the axis and the colours. Make it fixed. Make it set so it won't move with the data. So we know where we're getting to. Or you can put custom stuff in. Make this the maximum of, I don't know what it is. We'll leave it a dynamic. I like the way it shifts. Annotations. Enabled. If you want to add stuff. I don't know what that is actually. I think annotations you can drop stuff on. I'm not sure where it drops it on. I don't know what that is, sorry. Timeline and animation. This is how fast you want it to play. Play on load. So do you want it to start straight away when someone loads it? Or do you want it to stop? Do you want it to loop? Do you want it to keep going round at the end? Or do you want it to stop at the end? Advanced settings gives you extra settings. Let's play on load. Playback button instead. We'll leave it on the timeline. I like to see a timeline at the bottom. Number and formatting if you want to change numbers. If you want to change the layout, you can play with it. Edit the headers. Put a title in. YouTube Golf World Rankings. I'll put a title at the top. Again, you can change styles and mess about with it. Add a subtitle. Subtitle, who wins the race? Info in the footer. Created by Paul Nicholson. Add your website, pnuk.com. I'll make it clickable. Down here, look. Source, created by Paul Nicholson. Add accessibility. Screen reader mode for manual visual container. Whether the main visual container is visible to screen readers, text in the header and footer. I don't know what that means, to be honest. So you can see you can tinker with it and you can play around with it and you can set it up for however you want it, right? So if we go to full screen, we see all the information, and if we want to flip it, we can. And at this point, like me, you're going to record your screen. You're going to do whatever you want to do with your screen. Like I'd go full screen and I record my spiel, record the talking about it, and share that. Now, the only thing left to do is if you want to share this information, if you're on the free version, when you export it, all the data and everything goes public. So if I go export and share, obviously I can download it, but publish, share. This project will be published to its own page where you and others can see, share, and embed. You can ask it. I think you've got to pay for this, right? This is a business feature, yeah. Maybe later, publish. So now what you've got is a link to your data where you can share it with your colleagues or whoever you want to share it with. If it's just a data to push out, to show people, here's monthly sales, here's whatever. Remember, it's now public information if you haven't paid for this. And the links will work. A link to my website. And that'll just run and you can share it. You can embed it in your own website by copying this code. I haven't got a site that's going to be easy for me to show you that. But hopefully you have seen that it's easy to do. When you're going back to your data, you've got all you need is a label column, your values, a category. If you want an image to show, an image column, where you just simply go and find a link and highlight the link wherever it is. The data program will go and look for that image for you, and it will come up on the data run, the bar chart race, and you have all these settings at the side to tinker and play with. I know I've raced through it. I know I'm a bit scatty in places, but if you've got any questions, let me know. I can create separate videos for different things. There's all different graphs on the Flourish Studio app. It's really easy to use. Look, I've got the same sort of data in a line graph where you can show rankings going up in a line graph as well. Really cool. And there's all sorts of other things. So I hope this helped. I hope that you're going to dive in and play around. Don't be scared. Keep your data at the side. Copy and paste it. Chuck it in. See what it does. It's 100% free to use. It's only that export factor that makes it funky. But, you know, if you've got a screen recorder, you can just record your screen, share it as a video to your team. Really, really easy. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. If you made it this far, a subscribe would be awesome. Come to my website. All my training is 100% free. If you come to pnuk.com, all my training is free. I'm logged in, but you'll see nothing's for sale. Easy to use. Maybe I'll create a training course on this if it's required to help you out a little bit better. See you all again soon. Cheers.